My Two First Loves, Chapter 63, Blank Check. There have been only a few moments in my life where I could literally feel time slow down. Once was when baby Mackenzie tripped and fell down the stairs while I was supposed to be keeping an eye on her. And again when I had to watch Elijah Harris take off for the money we'd raised. "Get back here, you lying sack of..." The door rattled as he shook it with both hands, but it didn't budge. "Let's go out the side door. We'll chase him. Maybe we can cut him off at the street." I grabbed his arm and held him in place, waiting until he looked at me before easing my grip. "It's too late, Noah. By the time you go all the way around, he'll be long gone." "So we're just supposed to let him go? After all the lies he told us to Eastridge to us?" To him, he meant. Noah hadn't wanted to let Elijah in, but he did. In exchange, he got a taste of what it was like to have a real big brother. Only to have the rug ripped out from underneath him. I never should have trusted him. I should have seen this coming. But who does this to their own brother? Noah, we won't let him get away with this. He's got to surface sometime, and when he does, we'll get him and the money. Running is what Elijah does best. If he doesn't want to be found, he won't be. That money is as good as spent. I could see Noah warring with himself inside, so I did the only thing I could think of to... "Come here." I pulled him close, squeezing as hard as I could, and hoping that the pressure would keep him from falling apart. His body was rigid against mine, fighting the contact until, with a large sigh, he melted into me, his hands gripping my bag. After a few moments, he pulled away. "We need to let Miss Larson know what happened." "You're right. Come on." He ran back to the festival grounds. And as I rushed into the silent auction tent, I nearly crashed into a well-dressed man holding up my photo. "Oh there, young lady. There's plenty of ice for that fire under your heels." "Perfect timing. Lawrence, this is the student I was telling you about. Emma Price, this is... Lawrence Kane?" Correction. The Lawrence Kane, co-founder of the Repository, an international photography superstar. He'd shot presidential portraits, won awards for his photo coverage of natural disasters, and he was currently holding... "That's my photo!" "Miss Price, color me impressed. You have a lot of talent, and I think we should cultivate it. A friend of mine at New York Art Institute agrees. If you'd like to apply." Oh my god, am I dreaming? Someone pinch me? "Don't worry, you won't wake up from this." "Oh, sorry to interrupt, but there's something we've got to tell you, Miss Larson." "What's that?" "Elijah stole the logbox. We saw him run away with it and drove off." "What? All of our funds were in there. We have to contact the authorities." "Even if you do, my brother's a pro at this. I hate to say it, but I think the art department's sunk." "Well, if it's money you need..." He reached into a suit jacket and pulled out a checkbook and a fancy pen before signing his name with a flourish. I almost passed out seeing that he was writing out a check for several thousands of dollars. "Mr. Kane, that's just pocket change to me. This should cover what you need to keep the department afloat and continue discovering young photographers like Emma." "You're incredibly generous. Thank you so much." Miss Larson turned to address the rest of the volunteers and guests. "Everyone, I'm proud to announce that we've reached our goal," with a single check. That is how rich people could affect the world around us, but unfortunately they choose to be like Jeff Bezos. Around us, the crowd erupted into cheers, and for the first time since Elijah left, I felt the weight of the world lift off of my shoulders. One glance over at Noah told me he felt the same, and I quietly reached for his hand. His fingertips grazed mine, rough skin meeting soft. "Nice work, Cheer Squad." How many times do I have to say I'm not Cheer Squad anymore, but thanks. As people celebrated, I spotted Ava standing alone by a heat lamp. I waved Noah goodbye and headed over to her, with Bela hanging off of her for the past few hours. It was the first time we'd had to ourselves all night. "Hey, Emma, I heard what happened with Elijah. Yeah, I hope Noah's alright." Instinctively, I looked over my shoulder at Noah. Ava followed my gaze. "Wow, you must really like him." "Yeah, Noah deserves to catch a break. Ever since he got here, all anyone has done is gossip about him. He's finally catching his footing. And now Elijah has to come and screw everything up again. It'll be okay. Noah's strong. He'll get through this. Ava pulled me into a hug, holding me close while I breathed in her flowery sand. After a few moments, she pulled away with a sad smile. I'd better get back to Bela before she thinks I ditched her. Bela met my eyes, and her gaze never wavered as Ava rejoined her. Suddenly I heard a familiar voice behind me. I turned around to see Principal Jennings. Miss Price, Mr. Kane tells me you're the one responsible for saving the art program here at Eastridge. It seems an apology is in order, Miss Price. I'm sorry I misjudged you. I'll accept it, but never do it again, or I swear to God I'll have your balls in a vice. Principal Jennings extended his hand for me to shake. No. But I didn't move an inch. His hand floated mid-air awkwardly for a few moments before he withdrew. If you're going on an apology tour, I'd suggest starting with your son. I nodded over to Mason, who was having a drink by the igloo. Principal Jennings looked at him stone-faced. For a second, I didn't think he would do it, but he strode over and offered a hand to Mason. Dad, what do you want? You and I always don't see eye to eye, but you're your own man now, and I shouldn't be so pushy. I'm sorry. Mason shook his father's hand, fighting back wave after wave of emotion, and when he shot me a look, I saw the shock wash over him, and I couldn't stop the giant smile that spread across my face. Yay. After the festivities wound down, it was time for the after-parties. People piled into cars destined for empty houses with no parental supervision, dim romantic spots perfect for the moment alone, or in my case, the McDermott's drive-thru. Let's move it, ladies. I'm dying for some nugs. They're not that goddamn special, will you stop? Unless they have Szechuan sauce, which it doesn't exist. That's funny, because I'm dying for a little more of you. Oh, for the love of God, damn it, get a room! I think I'm going to take off with some of my buddies instead. Very wise, I won't stop you. Bela swept Ava in her arms and plastered kisses all over Ava's neck as she squealed into the night. Noah came to stand on my shoulder. Lovebirds. Can't live with them. Can't call them annoying without seeming a little bitter. Oh, bullshit, I can't. You have a better idea? Let me give you a ride home instead. You can have an after party of our own in the car, if you know what I mean. Or you could come with me. Oh, for the love of Christ. It's like he's like little Jiminy Cricket. He just pops up. Mason joined us on my opposite side. He and Noah nodded coolly at each other. That's everything that's happened with my dad. Well, let's just say I could really show my gratitude. Oh my God, look, there's an Ava option to get nugs with her and Bela. Why don't I just have an option to go home by myself? Seriously, can I just go home by myself? I'm tired of this love triangle. Who, raise of hands, who is with me? I turned to Mason, sheepishly, and I could tell he'd already sensed what I was about to say. The ring check? Yeah, next time. As Mason walked off to his car, Noah slung his arm around my shoulders. Let's ride. I don't think Noah has a car, he has a motorcycle. Oh, never mind. Noah pulled his mom's car into the driveway and turned off the engine. Inside, Dad's shadow drifted past the window. Why do I feel like any second now your dad's gonna come charging out with a baseball bat? I don't know who you've dated in the past, but you can relax. As a doctor, do no harm is kinda his whole brand. Do no harm. Now that's a novel concept. However, I turned to look out of his window, and I could see all the emotions from earlier brewing just beneath the surface. I'm really sorry about your brother. Don't be. Elijah Harris is nothing but a two-bit thief, and I should have seen his plan coming and going. Maybe, but at the end of the day, you did have him pegged from the start. You said you didn't trust him, and that his sudden appearance was fishy. If Principal Jennings had done his homework, none of this would have happened. It doesn't matter. What's done is done, and the only thing left to do is move forward. I told Noah's chin in my hand, turned his face to look at me. When his eyes finally met mine, I could see how much this had shaken him, and something inside me shifted. If you'd asked me at homecoming whether strong, stoic Noah and I would ever be discussing something as personal as Elijah, I'd have laughed in your face. But if you'd mentioned how hot it was to be the only one with such an intimate connection to him, I wouldn't have doubted you for a second. And some people like to talk things through, others not so much. I think I can guess which group you fall into. It's not that I don't appreciate it, but it's still wrong. You'd rather think about anything else. So instead, how about we focus on the fact that we are two incredibly attractive people alone with plenty of misplaced passion to burn. And your dad's still lurking by the window. Like, seriously? I brushed my thumb over his bottom lip, and he nipped my finger, catching it between his teeth, then pressed a kiss to the pad. He took my hand in his, turning it skyward to slowly kiss up my palm and my wrist. My heart skipped a beat as he grazed his tongue along my inner arm, sucking, kissing, and biting without ever breaking eye contact. I slipped my fingers around his neck, and he shot me a lazy smile. That's a plan I can get behind. Good, because I was promised displays of affection. Pull him in for a kiss. And I'd like to collect, if that's okay with you. I brought my lips to mine, and immediately our kisses turned fiery and passionate. He may not have wanted to talk about it, but his every movement drew me in, deeper and deeper into his raging emotions. A deal's a deal, but aren't you worried your dad might catch us? A little, but isn't that part of the fun? Maybe. You aren't as innocent as I thought. With a smile, I slipped the fabric at my shoulders down my arms, baring my chest as the dress fell to my waist, and he breathed in sharply. Not even close. His gaze traveled down, and he took in the side of my body like he was mesmerizing every square inch. When he finally met my eyes, his were low and lustful. Point made. In one smooth move, Noah unbuckled my seatbelt and guided us both over the center console and into the back seat. I straddled his laps, legs spread over his arousal, and grabbed my hips in his as he gripped my backside with both hands. With a groan, he claimed my mouth with his tongue, gently biting and sucking my bottom lip, making his way to my neck. I pushed his jacket off of his shoulders and set to work on the buttons of his shirt. Inch by inch, his muscular chest came into view. These are in the way. Then allow me. As he leaned forward to shrug off his shirt, his bare chest grazed mine, raising my flesh to a hardened point. His breath quickened as he noticed, as he dropped his shirt. It's been a while. We looked at each other with hunger in our eyes. No, I want your hands everywhere. Now slid one hand up my skirt of my dress, traced a path from my knee to my inner thigh, while the other caressed the curves of my chest. He captured the stiffened peak between his fingers, and rolling it until I couldn't help but call out. His name was a throaty moan, but that only encouraged him. His lips crashed into mine, rounding out a delicious collection of sensations. You drive me crazy in all the best ways. Crazy, huh? Unlike this. I slid my tongue into his mouth and wrestled with him for dominance, all while reaching for the fastenings of his slacks. Noah pulled back, chest heaving, just as I lowered the zipper and slipped my hand inside. Exactly like that. You have no idea. I'm just getting started. I gripped the hard length of him, and my movements quick and rhythmic. I watched as he fought to stay in control. We locked eyes, and all at once I never felt this sexy, this powerful. Emma. Through the foggy windshield, the flickering of the porch light caught my attention. Off and on, off and on. Crap. That's my dad's not-so-subtle 5-minute warning for a curfew. Trust me, we do not want him to come out here. I have to go. Immediately, I climbed off a Noah's lap and rushed to pull my dress back on. I thought you said he was cool. He's getting there, but if he sees me like this, he may be a little less committed to do no harm than I let on. Typically, Noah zipped me up before getting dressed too. I pressed one last kiss to his lips before climbing out of the back seat. Call me tomorrow? Try and stop me. Listen, I'll leave the phone off the hook, damn it. As I remember when that was a thing, as I climbed into bed later, I couldn't help thinking about the day. Even with all the twists and turns, two moments stood out the most. The feel of a defeated Noah in my arms and Mason's triumphant face when his father apologized. They were both heavy, emotional moments, and I was glad I'd been there. After all, that's why you do what you do for the people you love. Love. My eyes snapped open, and I sat straight up, a glaring realization that only been growing since homecoming made itself known. I'm in love with Mason and Noah. It only took 63 chapters for her to realize this. 63 goddamn... mother... Without further ado. I hate stupid people, okay? Let's be honest. Oh, I hate stupid people. Without further ado, thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Head in the description below. Links on social media, Discord if you'd like to support me and my content. Man. I don't know what else to say, folks. I just appreciate you for being here. Hopefully I made your day, made you smile. And if so, then my job is done. Catch you all later. I'll be on Twitch live streaming here shortly. Peace.